My question is twofold, and it's from a parable out of the audio. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. So the question is to Mr. Franklin. Could you go in depth with that parable, and to the aunties, since I'm an auntie, that is the village. Was there ever a time that you doubted a decision that you made, and how did you rectify that decision?
Okay, so just I want to make sure I get the question. Just expound on the statement, "The road to hell is paved with good intentions."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yes.
Got it. Yeah. I mean, listen, I think that when people, hear this book, I think one of the powerful things about it is just, we just tried to be so, we just tried to be honest, and just say, hey, just because you intend to do well doesn't mean you're gonna do well. And I think that when you look at that statement, what it means is that, it's very easy to just justify any number of actions with, well, my intention was good. Well, okay, that may have been the case, but what were the results of that intention? And maybe, Steve Jobs has a quote that you can only connect the dots looking backward. You can never do it going forward. And sometimes to change direction, you got to look back and say, okay, I may have had the wrong intent, but my execution might have been off. Let me adjust that. Let me not just excuse certain things that have happened just because the intent was, good from how we looked at it or how you may have looked at it. So, that quote really just for me is more about having a checks and balance system in your life, that you are consistently checking the results of your life with the intentions of your life and the impact that you're having on others. I know for me, that quote is like, okay, I want to make sure that I'm staying in touch with, the impact I'm having, and am I being true in that intention, and is that intention coming across? Because just because you have the intention doesn't mean that that's going to be received or communicated. So, those are some thoughts when I think about, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. It's not about intention, it's really about actions, because actions speak louder than words. Words whisper, but actions yell. And I think that, this book was really an opportunity to explore all of that.
Perfect. Thank you.
And then your follow-up?
My follow-up is for the aunties. To the village, was there ever a time that you doubted a decision that you made, and how did you rectify that?
I would say there were many times, probably, especially when they were young, that you would, allow them to do something. And I know that when DeVon first started driving, it was like you wanted him to park the car. You didn't want him to drive because you really were nervous, like, really, the 16-year-old, you're letting him go out in this world on these freeways. And so that kind of a decision, or the decision whether or not, they had friends that you were not real happy with, if you should step in and, say, no, you have to, that's not working. So there are things that you definitely, make regret, or you think about, things. I know he did have a friend in high school that I wasn't that particular about, but it all worked out. And I had to get involved in that a couple times. But I think as parents, we have to be able to get involved and not just let kids pick and choose and do what they want to do, because they don't always have haven't had the experience that you have had to make the right decisions, especially in when they're younger and developing friendships.
Thank you. Very sage advice indeed.